And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we have got a fantastic show for you today. My co-host, my genius grandson, Joey, is with me again today. We're having a few technical problems. I'm going to resolve that during our next commercial break. You want to just try and talk, Joe?
Yeah, it's not.
No, that's not happening. So that's not happening. So basically, once we get to our commercial break, I'll do what I can to resolve that issue. I'm sure that I can take care of it. In the meantime, I want you to know that on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and then of course we'll continue our segment, the tribute to the late great Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story. And then on today's show, our special segment is going to be with Sean LaFave. Sean, me, and Joey will be talking about health care on the Geared for Wellness corner, and that's what's going on there. But right now, let's talk about news. These are the 10 things that we've abbreviated that you need to know about for today. Then we'll get into a little bit more in-depth news. But right now, let's talk about the 10 things that, you know what? Let's talk about what's the temperature outside? It must be somewhere around 98 degrees outside in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, here are the 10 things that you need to know for today, Tuesday, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow as well. Trump says the election could be rigged. The Republican presidential nominee makes an unprecedented assertion by a modern presidential candidate, one he did not back up with any immediate evidence. And who's demanding Trump apologize? Well, families of American service members killed in combat as Trump feuds with the grieving parents of a fallen decorated Muslim army captain. And Trump's buffeted billionaire investor Warren Buffett savages Trump's business record, questioning his bankruptcies and asking why the Republican will not release his tax returns. Then, daily intelligence briefings to begin for candidates. Trump and Hillary Clinton will soon start getting top-secret intelligence briefings as Democrats and Republicans bicker over whether the candidates can keep a secret. And where health officials are warning pregnant women to stay away, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tell couples who have been to a Zika-stricken part of Miami to put off having children. Well, Rio's waterways remain as filthy as ever. Just days ahead of the Olympic Games, an Associated Press commissioned study finds the city's water contaminated with raw human sewage and teeming with dangerous viruses and bacteria. Well, the court records show a hot air balloon pilot spent time in prison. Yep. The Texas businessman kept flying despite at least 4 convictions for drunken driving. Whether drinking habits had anything to do with the crash that killed 16 people on Saturday is unclear. And where another voter ID law was blocked, a federal judge has blocked North Dakota's voter identification law after a Native American group said it unfairly burdens them. The latest court ruling against voting laws that critics say harm minorities. Well, how a shooting suspect allegedly prepared, this is what happened. Police say a 19-year-old man who shot and killed 3 people at a party in suburban Seattle was so unfamiliar with his new semi-automatic rifle that he parked his car across the street and read the AR-15's instruction manual just before the attack. Man, how horrible is that? And who the Yankees have traded away. Well, star outfielder Carlos Beltran is out of the Bronx, along with pitchers Aroldis Chapman, Andrew Miller, and Ivan Nova. The rebuilding Yankees will fight to avoid their first losing season since 1992. Well, it's time for us to give you some more in-depth news. That's what we're going to attempt to do here. Obama says Trump is unfit, challenges the GOP to drop support. In a searing denouncement, President Barack Obama slammed Donald Trump as unfit and woefully unprepared to serve in the White House actually he just said that today. He challenged Republican lawmakers to drop their support for their party's nominee, declaring that there has to come a point at which you say, enough. The president's blistering critique of his potential successor came on the heels of Trump's criticism of an American Muslim family whose son, a captain in the United States Army, was killed in Iraq. A growing number of GOP lawmakers have disavowed Trump's comments, but most of those who have endorsed him are sticking by that stance. If you are repeatedly having to say in very strong terms that what he has said is unacceptable, why are you still endorsing him? Obama asked during a White House news conference. What does this say about your party that this is your standard bearer? Boy, you can say that again, no question about it. Well, you know what? Whoops, let's see, everything just kind of switched over. In a blow to the GOP unity, Trump refuses to back Ryan and McCain. Well, this guy, he's a can short of a six-pack. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump said today that he is refusing to endorse House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senator John McCain just 2 weeks after pledging to bring the fractured GOP together at the party's nominating convention. He also ripped into New Hampshire Senator Kelly Ayotte in the same interview with the Washington Post. All three have primary challenges, and all three disapproved of Trump's criticism of the Muslim American parents of an Army captain killed in Iraq. Trump's refutation of Ryan, the nation's most senior elected Republican, carried particular derision. I'm just not there yet, Trump said in an interview. Those are very close to the words Ryan used in the long months before that he endorsed Trump, telling CNN on May 6th, I'm just not there yet. Well, Trump, you know what? I tell you, I honestly don't think he wants to be president of the United States. That's what I'm thinking. I think he just wants the publicity and he wants the money that'll come in as a result of it. Well, here's the latest. Trump withholds support for Ryan and McCain. We already talked about that, so I'm not gonna bother you with that all over again. That's for sure. But we can talk about this. Excuse me. But you know what? My computer's playing all kinds of games here. There we go. New York City's top cop is stepping down after challenging tenure. Here's the deal. New York City Police Commissioner William Bratton is leaving the nation's largest police force after getting credit for keeping crime down, but grappling with tension between police and minority communities. Bratton, whose departure was announced Tuesday, will leave next month to become a risk and security advisor at Ateneo, a consulting firm. James O'Neill, the department's top chief, will replace him as commissioner. During 5 years spanning 2 stints as the city's top cop, Bratton has had an outsized impact on the New York Police Department. He noted that he was leaving at the challenging time for police in America and New York, even though all indicators are pointing in the right direction. He said no department is better prepared to confront the crises of America, or race in America, crime in America, the threat of terrorism, and the divisiveness of the presidential election. Well, time will tell about that. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about the deadly weather system strengthens now Tropical Storm Earl, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And I'm here with my co-host, Joey. Joey, I think we got your technical problems taken care of. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we did.
I think we did. Am I a genius or what?
Well, I couldn't do it.
Well, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
We did it.
We just been having technical problems today. Your computer was acting up. The headphones were, the microphone was acting up, you know.
But we have the magic touch.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get back into the news, Joe. First up is the, let's see here. No, I already did that one. And I'm not going to do it again. That's for doggone sure. So let's try this one here. A deadly weather system strengthens now Tropical Storm Earl. A weather system that already has caused at least 6 deaths in the Dominican Republic has been designated as Tropical Storm Earl. The U.S. National Hurricane Center in Miami said today that Earl was threatening to bring heavy rains, flooding, and high winds to Mexico, Belize, and Honduras. All 3 of those countries issued tropical storm warnings for some areas, and a hurricane watch was issued for part of the Mexican coast. Now, on Sunday, Earl was still a weaker tropical wave, but knocked down power lines and started a fire that killed 6 passengers on a bus filled with people returning from a beach excursion. You know what? That's just, if it wasn't for bad news, Joe, there wouldn't be any news, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that, I keep wanting to talk to our own Sean Lefebvre about, but he disputes the existence of this, and this is the Zika virus, a little ninja they're calling this. Zika spreading mosquito puts up a tough fight. The mosquitoes spreading Zika in Miami are proving harder to eradicate than expected, the nation's top disease fighter said today, as authorities sprayed clouds of insecticide in the Ground Zero neighborhood, emptied kiddie pools, and handed out cans of insect repellent to the homeless. Dr. Tom Frieden, director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said the mosquito control efforts in the bustling urban neighborhood No. The disease control in the urban neighborhood aren't achieving the hoped-for results, suggesting the pests are resistant to the insecticides or are still finding standing water in which to breed. You know what? And that's just the way mosquitoes go. If you don't know that, there's something wrong. Most all of us know that. And how about this? Snapping up cheap spy tools, nations monitoring everyone. Now, this is something my grandson Joey's going to be interested in. It was a national scandal. Peru's then vice president accused 2 domestic intelligence agencies of staking out the then top congressman blamed the spy agency for a break-in at his office. News stories showed the agency had collected data on hundreds of influential Peruvians. Yet, after last year's outrage, which forced out the prime minister and froze intelligence gathering, the spy service went ahead with a $22 million program capable of snooping on thousands of Peruvians at a time. Peru, a top cocaine-producing nation, joined the ranks of world governments that have added commercial spyware to their arsenals. Joey, what do you think about that? They're buying this stuff. It's not stuff that is strictly professional. It's stuff they're buying on the consumer market that regular people can get, and they're spying on tens of thousands of their own people with this stuff. Any thoughts on it?
I think it's an ongoing issue, and I don't think anybody is getting all sides of this.
That's for sure. Boy, did you nail that one down. So
I think that it's hard to create an opinion when you're not getting all sides of it.
You know what, Joy? Isn't that now that you mention that, you and I talked at some length this morning about the fact that a lot of people in this world, I was going to say in this country, but in this world, derive opinions based on something that someone has said that is not backed up by verified facts. And isn't that kind of what that story is all about?
Yeah, I think so. I just think that the spy world, they're spies for a reason. They're not telling whole truths. So it's hard to...
Yeah, they're trying to manipulate something,
right? It's hard to find opinions. It's hard to create opinions on this issue when really there's no way you can really get the truth. Like, these are professionals
that are trying to actually draw an opinion that they want, right? They're trying to skew the opinion.
I mean, these people are using spyware, but then again, so does everybody else.
Yeah. Well, let's do our last story for today, and that is French Muslims step out of invisibility after attacks. French Muslims have been officially invisible, expected to blend in with the rest of the citizenry in secular France. But now they are speaking out and being called on to take a larger role in combating the threat from Islamic extremists. The killing of a priest last week at the altar of a Normandy church by 2 19-year-old extremists has become a lightning rod for change. I didn't even realize it was 2. I thought it was just 1. In an unusual joint statement published Sunday, a group of more than 40 Muslim lawyers, doctors, and other professionals said the French Muslims must move from the shadows of front and center and take action because those representing Islam have lost touch with the young. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. Our first case is Earned Income Credit. That's EIC is available for nieces. Sounds a little strange, but I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:22 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's on its way down to 65 degrees, which is really pleasant. Even the 93, not too bad. But if you're listening to us on our syndicated global network and you're in New York City, well, it's 74 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, it's 85 degrees and mostly cloudy. But right now, we're going to talk about the IRS losers.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay, here we are. One of my favorite parts of the show, the IRS loses. Nobody wants to hear about the IRS winning. You know, just sends chills up and down my spine with some of these cases. But let's get right to it. The IRS loses. Earned income credit is available for nieces. You know, Matthew Gilmore was 19 years old and lived in an apartment with his mother, 3 sisters, and 2 children of one of his sisters. Now, he had a job, helped support the family, and cared for his nieces, for whom he claimed an earned income credit. But the IRS denied the credit. So he went to court to get some justification. This is what the judge said. To qualify Matthew for the earned income credit, the children must meet age, residence, and relationship tests as minors who lived with him. They met the first 2 as nieces. They met the relationship test if he cared for them as his own children. So the ruling is the oldest male in the family who both cared for and worked to support them. He did so and thus gets the credit, which is the way it should be. And the IRS knew that. Shame on them. Well, the IRS loses. Payments to teachers who give up tenure are not subject to employment tax. Here's the case. Under an an early retirement program, teachers in a school district gave up their tenure rights to employment in exchange for cash payments. Now, the IRS said the payments were earned through employment and thus subject to employment tax, which it had the district withhold. Now, the teachers sued for refunds. This is what the judge said, though. When an at-will employee who can be dismissed at any time is given a severance bonus, it is taxable wages. But here, payment was made in exchange for the surrender of valuable legal rights, not in exchange for labor. So, the payments were not wages, and refunds are granted. Not only granted, but there's interest that they're going to get, and the courts ordered the IRS to pay their legal fees, which just makes sense. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. Was told of a new address. Yep. Well, you know what? Thomas Hunter moved and filed an IRS power of attorney as a POA form that told the IRS to send copies of all tax notices to his accountant and gave his new address. But the IRS sent a deficiency notice only to his old address. Hunter said he never received it, so it was invalid. The IRS answered that Hunter had never filed an IRS form 8822, change of address form, and general correspondence sent to it containing a new address does not serve as one. So the notice was valid. This is what the tax court said. A power of attorney is not general correspondence and has been held many times by the courts to notify the IRS of a change of address, often at the IRS's own insistence. So the notice is invalid, the way it should be. You know, the IRS just keeps playing these kind of games, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now with this segment of the show that we call Inside the IRS. It's just a little bit like The Twilight Zone. Okay, so these are not tax court cases, but this is as precedents that the IRS has set. They're decisions and procedures and things that the IRS is using that you can rely on if it's appropriate for you in your particular case. In this particular case here now, we're talking about the most efficient way to obtain a tax-related criminal conviction. You know, the IRS has figured it out to do this, how to do this, and to charge a violation of non-payment of payroll taxes or fraudulent preparation of payroll tax returns. Small business owners are especially susceptible to being targeted for criminal prosecution, as these businesses often employ workers who are paid off the books in cash and other workers who are arbitrarily treated as independent contractors. Restaurants and contractors employ millions of workers for whom payroll taxes are not paid. Now, the latest development, large employers are being hit. For an example, Blackwater Worldwide, which provides security personnel to the United States government in Iraq, is being targeted by Congress, allegedly evading more than $50 million of payroll taxes. I expect the IRS is going to be not too far behind Congress when it comes to this issue. Well, how about this? Excuse me. Examination of offshore bank accounts gets the IRS's attention. The IRS has reported that it is investigating more than 100 taxpayers who may be hiding assets in accounts in Liechtenstein. The Liechtenstein Global Trust Bank is the institution that apparently was complicit in money laundering activities of the targeted taxpayers. How the scheme may have worked? Well, instead of getting paid for services or for the sale of property, the account holders arranged to have money deposited into an offshore account. Now, the bank issued a credit or a debit card permitting the account holders to withdraw cash to make purchases. The investment income earned from the assets was not reported on tax returns. And that, my friends, is how they got away with it. Now, we're going to be taking another short break. When we come back, we'll be with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We got a lot of great show for you today.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFave, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:32 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on the way down to 65 degrees. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Torrance, California, it's 79 degrees and clear. And if you are sitting in the sweltering heat and humidity of Wichita, Kansas, it's 89 degrees and mostly cloudy. And that's where our good buddy Sean LaFave is. Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Robert. How are you?
Well, I am great. I'm just like you. I am in air-conditioned comfort.
Yeah, exactly. Air conditioning. It's so funny. I don't know what I was thinking. I bought a car not too long ago, and it's black. And it was the dumbest thing. Every time I get in the car, it's like stepping into an oven. Even, I know 89 degrees really isn't that hot. It's hot enough. But man, when it gets over 100, that car is unbearable to be in. It takes forever. The air conditioner doesn't hardly even work. It's so hot. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you know what?
Buy another black car.
But here's the thing, and I understand what you're saying, but black is so elegant. I mean, when you're going out and you're in the evening and stuff, it is just an elegant, beautiful, beautiful color. But you're right. Boy, when that sun is beating down on that thing, it's like an oven.
Yes, it is.
So, my friend, I was just going to ask you the same thing. My weekend was terrific.
I knew you were. That's why I asked you first.
I spent it with my genius grandson, Joey. And you know what? And Joey is with us today. He's co-hosting the show today. Joey and I went to what do they call that thing Saturday, Joey?
Midsummer Scream.
Midsummer Scream, and it was all about Halloween and paranormal and all these different things. Well, Joey and I started our morning off with a gourmet breakfast at Jack in the Box. We had a breakfast Jack. Then we went to the Long Beach Convention Center and waited in line. And I've got to tell you, you ever been to one of those things, Sean?
Have you ever been to what?
Have you ever been to one of these Halloween paranormal convention things?
No, I never have. You know, it's funny. I'm a big fan of that TV show that's Supernatural.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's basically about these two brothers. They're from Kansas. They're actually from Lawrence, Kansas, and they drive around the country in a I want to say it's like a 68 Chevelle or something like that, and they it's an old muscle car, something like that. I can't remember. It's black, but they drive around the country and they fight and kill supernatural demons and werewolves and vampires and all kinds of ghosts. Yeah, they're like Ghostbusters, but it's a whole new level. It's really cool. It's actually a very good show. It's a lot of fun. My son and I have watched every single episode.
Once you watch that show, you will never look at flickering lights the same way again.
Oh, yeah. Every time the lights flicker, I look to see if I can see my breath.
Well, I got to tell you, we went to this show. We got there. It opened up at 11 and it didn't close till 7. So the minute we walked in, I mean, it was just characters in costume and makeup. I mean, it looked real. It wasn't masks. It was makeup. It was unbelievable. And you went down onto the convention floor, and it was just the most unbelievable. Can you describe a little bit of it, Joey?
Well, I'm a big scary movie fan. I love going to those things on Halloween where you go through the mazes and they jump out and scare you. Have you ever been to one of those?
Have I been away? I've been to those. They're fun.
Yeah, I love them, and I love the genre. I love movies in general. So, and horror has to do a lot with special effects, and that's one of the things.
You know, it's funny. I'm not a big fan of the horror movies, and it's not because I don't like being scared. I don't know what it is. I've just never gotten into them. Like, people watch them. I go, okay, I'll watch it with you. But I don't know. I've just never really gotten into them. You know, like the stuff like the Friday the 13th and, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street and all those kind of things. There's some good ones, but overall, I'm not a big fan of those. But I do like
Sean, the difference between you and me and Joey is that neither you nor I like to get scared and have a heart attack. Joey is looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't enjoy every horror movie I watch. As a matter of fact, I'm very picky when it comes to my horror movies. Like, I'd like a good story. I'd like fear, but I'd also like Hitchcockian suspense. And, you know, I like a really good horror movie, like Nosferatu or The Witch. Those are really good horror movies. But first we went to this like makeup. I think it was Heavy Gore FX, and the lady.
She took a guy. This makeup artist took a guy with an absolutely perfect complexion, just perfect. And then what did she do, Joe?
She made it look like his face had been cut 3 times with a knife, and a bottle had been smashed over his head.
And it looked. Wow. Joey and I were in the front row, and I swear to God, it looked like this guy had been worked. It looked real. Yeah. I swear to God.
And it only took the lady an hour, and she went like into such detail. Like, at one point she said, well, on the opposite side of the face, we need to apply some of the fake blood, because if you were hit like this, you'd touch your face and you'd wipe it. And I thought, how do you, like, how, and like, that's just so real that you'd think of what you do in that situation and apply. She was talking about some of her inspirations. It was amazing.
Well, before we put a cap on that, you need to know that we had to leave for lunch, and we went to Gladstone's, which I know you're familiar with, Sean. And boy, we had a magnificent lunch, a seafood lunch at Gladstone's. And then And then
I love Gladstone.
Oh yeah. Then we went back to the convention, closed that up, and went to the Sky Room for dinner, which was a magnificent evening dinner that we had. But the hit of the day was this darkened area in the convention room. I don't know what they call that thing.
They call it the Hall of Shadows.
The Hall of Shadows, and they have all what they call these mazes. It's like little bit. Every one is a different scenario of a Hall of Horrors, for God's sakes. It was like they call them mazes. Joey must have gone to 5 or 6 of those things.
Yeah. They were like little advertisements for mazes that are going to come in full scale to Halloween in different locations. They had a really cool, and I think my favorite was there were like aliens, like a spaceship crashed, and then there were the astronauts turning like zombie aliens. It was pretty cool. All of them were really cool.
So, Sean, I got to tell you, I had 3 real highlights, 3 things that I just absolutely loved. One was being with my genius grandson, Joey. 2 was lunch at Gladstone's, and 3 was dinner at the Sky Room. I'm going to tell you, we had a great time.
The main.
I need to come hang out with you guys.
The main hall was cool too. Like there were people on stilts, and some famous people who did FX were over there. There were people who brought supposedly cursed artifacts over. One of the guys showed me supposedly the real kit that the Exorcist used in the case that inspired the film.
Joey was in his element.
Sounds like it.
All right, so listen. So you asked what I did this weekend, and then the next day, we decided, you know, that was just Saturday. So the next day, we got up late and we were wondering what the heck we were going to do. And we decided, you know what, let's celebrate. And so we wound up having a steak and lobster here at the house, and that was okay, huh, Joe?
I liked it. I enjoyed the steak and lobster.
Yeah, who wouldn't enjoy steak and lobster?
Steak and lobster.
And then yesterday we had to come back to reality, right? And so all day yesterday I was thinking about, what is my good buddy Sean LaFave? I wonder what he did this last weekend.
You know, I went and hung out. My buddy Craig was out of his place, and he's the one I think I told you about him before. He's got the hangar, the back third of his hangar has got a big condo inside of it, and so he lives out at the small airport outside of Wichita. So we went and hung out with him for a while, and trying to think what else. I did a little bit of work. I went to the office for a little bit, and you have been hooked. There you go. You had an opportunity for a perfect weekend, and it was like a magnet drawing you in. You couldn't resist it. You just had to go to the office, right? I did. You know, I'm still kind of getting my office set up, you know, hanging stuff on the wall. In fact, I had to hang up my diploma and my certifications and licenses and all those kind of things. I had to get those hung up. So I actually went out this weekend. I also bought frames. It's funny. Some of them I'd never even framed before. And I thought, gosh, why have I never framed these? But so I bought some frames, got those things hung up, and just kind of do a little bit of paperwork and things like that. But I had a fun weekend. I grilled out as well, and
would you grill?
Relaxing chicken.
Yeah. You know what? You know, it sounds funny. I really, really like chicken. It's just I like it. You know, and I know 100 ways to fix chicken. I like chicken.
Yeah, me too. I prefer the dark meat. I'm not a real big fan of chicken breasts in general. If I never eat another one, I'll be just fine. But I do like hot wings. So hot wings are one of my big weaknesses. I love going out and getting hot wings. And oh man, I love cooking them. Hot wings they're definitely a weakness of mine.
Now, do you like them real? I mean, like fire engine hot, or do you like them mild? Or I'm more of a mild.
Yeah, no, I like them super hot. I like them hotter than most people would enjoy. So I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. I grew up, you know, it's funny. I can remember my grandma when I was a kid, and she was like 90 years old. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, she was about 90, and she would sit there with a jar of pickled jalapenos and eat them like they were regular pickles. You just sit there and eat these
hey, wait a minute. Wait, excuse me.
And I'm like,
wait, whoa. I need to hear that sound effect one more time.
Are you going to record it? Like that. But yeah, I can remember. So I just grew up in a family where we ate hot stuff a lot, and I just kind of got used to it at a young age. And I can remember my grandma, man, she would eat those jalapenos that I couldn't touch when I was a kid. You know, when you're a kid, everything's super, super hot. But yeah, I just grew into.
I cook.
I love Tabasco on everything. And, oh, man,
I cook with jalapenos. I don't eat them straight, but I cook with jalapenos, and sometimes I'll dice some jalapenos to put them in a nice salad, give it a little bit of taste. I'm like you. I'll use Tabasco, and I use that kind of stuff too. But I don't, and I love salsa. I like a fairly spicy salsa, enough that my bald head starts perspiring, and I got, and I'm sweating, but not enough that it burns, that I have to get a 3-alarm fire inside my mouth.
Yeah, that's my only problem with eating spicy food, and it doesn't have to be very spicy. Just a little bit of spice, and the sweat machine turns on, and I got to have an extra couple napkins just to wipe the sweat off my face while I'm eating spicy food.
Yeah.
I wish. I see. I was thinking the other day. I saw these two kids on their bicycles, and I thought, do Mormons not sweat? Like how is it that they? I mean, I don't know, maybe if you become a Mormon, you just don't sweat anymore, because they send the kids graduate high school and they send their boys out to do these missions, and they all got to wear a slacks and a button-up shirt and a tie, and then ride a bicycle everywhere. And I'm looking at these kids, I'm going, if I did that, no one would ever come to Jesus for me. They'd be like, dude, stop tripping all over my house. Go away. It's like, here. Maybe people would give me cold water to drink or something. But I see these guys riding their bikes, and I think, how is it that they do this and not show up to everybody's house just drenched in sweat?
You know what? I never gave that much thought, but you're right. They don't sweat. I think they if they do anything, they may just mildly perspire.
Yeah. Listen, and that's about it. Yeah.
The one thing I've given thought on that topic is what percentage do you think on a daily basis for the missionaries? How many? A ratio between how many people they visit and how many people actually open their door.
Oh, that'd be interesting to know.
That would be interesting. I'm sure, I imagine they probably keep a log of everything they do. And I bet you somewhere in Salt Lake City, they probably have that statistic.
Yeah, because I can tell you.
I was actually one of those guys that did answer the phone, and I actually invited the guys in, and this was years ago, and I actually did study with them because I was really curious, and I wasn't crazy about the logic that they went through. That's kind of the hard part is, you're sending out kids, you realize that these are, 18, 19-year-olds, and, so they're just regurgitating what they've been taught. But
they're trying to save you for eternity, man. They're trying to save you for eternity. Hey, you know what? I got to tell you, when Maureen and I were celebrating our 5th wedding anniversary, we did that in Hawaii. We went to a number of different places, and one of the places we went to was the Polynesian Cultural Center, which is actually run by the Mormon Church. And this tour we took stopped at the Mormon Church, and they want you to sign a guest book, right? And we were young and dumb, and we did. And so then we went to the Cultural Center. We saw the show and did the whole 9 yards. We had spent 2 weeks in Hawaii. The day after our flight came back, at some ungodly hour of the morning, we get this knock on the door with 2 young guys at the door saying, "Gosh, we're just wondering how you enjoyed your trip in Hawaii." You talk about a communication line that they had, unbelievable. Wow. But I have to admit, when I look out the peephole of the door, and if it's any religious, it doesn't have to be Mormon, it could be any of them, Watchtower, any of them, I don't even open the door. Once in a while I will if I want to have some fun. But other than that, Joey's laughing over here. I will once in a while. If I want to have some fun and I'm a little bored, I'll open the door and we'll have a conversation that just blows their mind. Other than that, it's pretty decent.
Yeah. That's really funny. I've actually seen the thing online that said that Jehovah's Witnesses, how they don't celebrate Halloween, and then this guy said, do they not like strangers knocking on their doors?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but you answered the door. But I'll bet you were nice and courteous and accepted all of their the giveaways and all that stuff, huh?
Oh yeah, like I said, I sat down and I even studied with them. I invited them back, and I was really curious. We're so many tangents today, but this story here is kind of funny. And so I was 20. Let's see here. This was in 1992, so I was 23 years old, and I was engaged. Never ended up marrying the gal, but I was engaged to this gal. And by the way, I was raised atheist. I wasn't. I never had religion until I was in my mid to later part of my 20s. Mm-hmm. And but I was raised atheist. So I just didn't believe in the existence of God at all. Let alone was I ever going to worship or whatever. And I was engaged to this gal who was a Christian. And, she wanted me to, to go to church with her and do all these things, and, get Jesus and on and on. And so,
she wanted you to commit sacrilege?
Yeah, exactly. So we're living together in this apartment in Colorado Springs and, living in sin. And this guy, young guy, comes and knocks on the door. And I said, the screen door was closed, but the regular door was open. I said, hey, come on in, man. What can I do for you? And so he comes in. He says, well, I'm just going around the neighborhood and I'm talking to people about Jesus. Would you like to talk about Jesus with me today? And I said, sure, I'd love to, man. And of course, my fiance at the time, she's looking at me like, what are you saying? Of course you want to, And so I start talking with the guy, and he's telling me all about Jesus, and how he's, died on the cross for me, and, on and on. He tells me the whole thing, right? And then he asks me, he says, have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior? And I said, no, I honestly haven't. And he goes, do you think that's something you should do? And I said, yeah, that is something I should do. And he goes, would you like to do that right now? I said, sure, let's do that. And so he said, all right, I'm going to say a prayer, and I want you to just repeat, because I'll say a line, and then I want you to just repeat it. And, I'll pray for us at the end and give the amen and everything. So he gives me this, I can't remember the exact prayer. It was a typical one, Jesus, come into my heart, I'm a sinner, blah, 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 all these things. And, the kind of the prayer of salvation, whatever it's called.
Oh, he had you pegged pretty good.
Oh yeah. So we do the whole salvation. We do the whole salvation prayer, and I'm smiling, and there's a lot of people are going to hate me when they hear this story, but we're smiling, and the guy, at the end, I tell him thanks. I think I even gave him a hug and sent him on his way, and he walks away. I turn around, I looked at my fiance, and I said, "There, you happy I'm saved now?" And she looks at me, and she was fuming, and she goes, you didn't mean a single word you said, did you? I said, no, of course I didn't. She goes, why did you sat there looking that guy dead in the face with a big smile on your face, and you didn't mean any of it? And I said, yeah, but I said, maybe he was having a bad day, and he just needed to score one good hit to give him the motivation to go out and keep moving forward. And I said, maybe he's actually going to go out and save someone now, because maybe he was discouraged, and now he feels like he's done something good, and maybe he's motivated to go do more of it. Maybe I just did someone else a favor. And she just looked at me, she's like, I can't believe you are so ridiculous.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, gosh, since we're having true confessions, and I got to tell you, I actually did this. They come to the door, and they want to preach Jesus to you, and they said, can we talk to you about Jesus? And I said, Jesus, how are you spelling that? And they spell it. And I says, oh, Jesus, my gardener. You want to know about my gardener? No, we want to talk about Jesus. I said, well, Jesus. No, it's not. It's Jesus. It's Jesus Garcia. He does my lawn every other week. No. That's not who I want to talk about. I said, that's the only Jesus I know. He says, it's not Jesus. It's not Jesus. It's Jesus. I says, well, Jesus Christ, who the hell do you mean? He says, that's it.
Have you ever heard of the Book of Mormon? I mean, the play, not the actual text.
Yeah.
all this kind of reminds me of the first song where it's basically just a compilation of all the people walking up to doors and going, hello. And then they do the whole preach, all in song. And it's the best. It was one of the best things I have ever heard. You got to look it up. It is hilarious.
It reminds me of go ahead.
No, please.
It reminds me of my buddy Jesus, or not Jesus, Jose, and Jose was he was a big baseball fan, but he was a poor guy. He had a tough time doing things, but he used to sneak into the ballpark, and sometimes he would just climb halfway up the flagpole because you could see just over the wall. People wouldn't be able to see him. And when they start the ball games, they all do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and they all do the Star Spangled Banner, and he always thought it was for him. He thought they were saying, "Jose, can you see?" All right.
That was awful. How much time do we have left? So it's only a long break.
2 minutes.
How much?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, well, I'll tell a story then.
Okay.
And since we're talking about religion,
you have not told a 2 minute story in your life.
This one I can get in under 2 minutes. It's not a problem. I've actually practiced this one.
Well, it's a minute and a half now.
So it was actually a friend of mine that had their son was he was doing horrible in math. They got tutors for him, and they tried everything, and he was failing math miserably. And they were they were at their wits' end, and another friend of theirs said, "Hey, you know what? My son goes to this Catholic school, and they are really great at teaching math. Because you might want to check it out. Maybe they can help your son." And so they go and they check out the school. They get their son enrolled, and next thing they know, he went from failing math to getting straight A's. I mean, he's excelling in math. He's doing amazing, way beyond their expectations. And they were just so, they saw the progress report and the report card, and they're just, wow. So they said, finally, they asked, they said, son, we're so proud of you. This is amazing. What's so different about this school that you're doing? He goes, I don't know. They're really not doing anything different. He goes, well, they must be teaching a different method. He said, no. He goes, well, do you like the teacher better? He says, no, not really. He goes, well, they have someone that helps you, in class, or he says, no, not really. It's about the same as the other school. He goes, well, why are you doing so much better? He goes, well, when I walked in and I saw they had that guy nailed up on that big plus sign, I knew they were serious about their math. That's the best you're going to get out of me today.
All right. So listen, we're going to take a short break. As soon as this porpoise stops lapping, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. And you know what? We'll probably talk about healthcare or not.
Well, we're going to talk about health. You sent me a couple of really good articles, and especially the one about flossing and stuff. Let's talk about those when we get back.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Joey and Sean and me. Well, we'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away. We got a lot of great show for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now from Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently, still 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 96 on its way to 65. And if you're listening to us on our syndicated network, you're in Paris, France, it's 68 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you're in Rome, Italy, you're a lucky son of a gun, and it's 73 degrees and it's clear. But right now, we're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We're here with my co-host, Joey. Hey, Sean, Joey, let's get to it.
All right. So you sent me some articles, and the one that I found really interesting and actually just made my heart sing because I hate flossing is, the title of it is The Medical Benefits of Dental Floss Are Unproven. And it's actually, that's something that I've actually kind of known, but never really, I've read into it or anything like that. But that's basically what the article is saying. It's like, this is something that's been pushed on us, for years and years. Every dentist is going to tell you, make sure you floss. Every hygienist is going to, they drill it into my teeth. They go, they'd say, but I would say, I don't like the floss. They go, you mean you used to not like flossing? You like it now though, right? I'm like, yes, of course I love it now. But,
the sad part about this. The sad part about this is I read that article this morning just before I sent it to you, and I floss religiously.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who do, and basically what it's saying is the evidence for flossing is either weak or very unreliable or very low quality, or it carries a bit of a bias. And I don't know what would be the benefit of making a big push for flossing. I mean, I can't. I'm sure. Well, it
does get the food out from between your teeth.
Sure, it does, but the question is, does it really? How much of a benefit do we have? And I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Weston Price. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Weston Price was a dentist who was born in, I think, 1870 or somewhere around there, the later part of the 1800s, and died around the middle of the 1900s. But he's known for a lot of research that he did on the connection of oral health and general health. And he actually traveled the world, and he would go to, all these different countries and talk to people about, what's going on with, like what do they do for oral hygiene. And there's some places that they don't really even brush, and they have great oral health. And, and he was always perplexed, why is it that, we put so much effort into, giving care into our teeth and still have problems where other places, don't. And in fact, there was a place in Switzerland that was like a village that he found He said, where these people did nothing to their teeth at all. And he said, matter of fact, they all had a sort of a green film. He said their teeth weren't pretty at all because of whatever it was that was in their diet. They had like this green film on their teeth, but they never brushed. They certainly never flossed. And but he went in. He said when he would clean their teeth, like he would get someone who goes, "Can I clean your teeth?" He would clean the teeth. He goes, underneath this green film was perfectly healthy teeth.
Well, I've got to tell you, because I wasn't really good at flossing and stuff like that when I was a young kid. I brushed my teeth, but once a day because I needed my breath to smell decent. But you know what? I never, ever, ever had a tooth problem or a plaque problem until after the first time I had my teeth cleaned.
Well, I can imagine that. Yeah, even. And I know I've talked about this book before, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And one of the things that he talks about in there, and it's just kind of an aside, you don't really spend any time, it's just kind of brushes over it real quick, but he talked about how, of course, the living conditions were horrible, and then granted, they didn't eat a lot, so it wasn't like they were stacking all day and definitely weren't eating sugary foods. But he said we had zero access to any type of oral health care, no dentists, no toothbrushes or anything like that. And he goes, everyone had excellent oral health. And, that kind of makes you wonder, why is it? Maybe going in once you get the ball rolling, once you start going to the dentist, maybe it becomes a self-perpetuating thing that maybe flossing is pushed on us because it does create a need for dentists. Other than that, I don't know why they would push flossing because it's not like, medicine where they give you the stuff for free. It's not like they're making money off it.
I put dentists and chiropractors on the same stool. The minute you go there once, you're afforded a life sentence.
Yeah, and it's funny. People say that to me all the time. Like, well, once you start going to the chiropractor, you always have to go. I go, isn't that kind of the same as the dentist? Like, no, that's different. I'm like, well, why is it any different? You go to the dentist every 6 months, or at least you're supposed to, and chiropractors. And I tell them, you don't have to go, but what happens is you feel great once you go to the chiropractor. You're like, wow, man. And then you just start to feel crappy again, and you go, oh gosh, I want to go back to the chiropractor and feel good again. And so, it's like eating healthy food. You don't have to eat healthy food, but once you get in the habit of doing it, you kind of want to do it more of it. You don't have to, but
you know what? I got to tell you, this being healthy, I think, is overrated. It can ruin your life. If you have to just eat healthy things and drink healthy things and do healthy things, you are going to be miserable for the rest of your life.
Papa?
Yeah.
There's actually a myth story, and I'm a history buff, so I've learned all this stuff. I forget which member of the royal family it was, but it was long ago, like 1600s, right when the cocoa plant was being introduced to England. And I think it was the Queen had teeth turn black from the amount of sugar she was eating on a daily basis. So, but she didn't complain. She was still queen. She was eating healthy,
Okay. I'm not sure where that's going. I understand. What you're saying to me is if I continue with my lifestyle, I'm going to lose all my teeth or they're going to turn black, but I'm still going to have fun.
Exactly.
Okay. I can handle that. As
long as we're having fun, you don't really need teeth for anything. You can put your food in the blender and drink it. So.
Oh, come on, man. Not for a long time. I need that. I need to sink my teeth into a nice medium rare steak or a lamb chop or a piece of lobster just soaked in drawn butter with a little bit of, oh gosh almighty. You know what? Or maybe a fettuccine Alfredo or a chicken fettuccine Alfredo or a jambalaya as an appetizer.
Is this my menu for tonight?
Yeah, we just need to start doing a cooking show from now on. Just forget all this health stuff. We'll just do. People are more interested in food anyway. Yeah, we need to do it.
But I'll do it all. From scratch so that you'll approve.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I always approve. Yeah, man, absolutely. So, yeah, this one's interesting though. To think. maybe flossing isn't on it. And I hope so, because I hate flossing. I hate doing it. I don't know. It's just not fun. I've never once flossed and went, gosh, I'm so glad I did that.
It's nasty.
I know I should.
It's nasty.
It's nasty. It's terrible. I would literally pay someone to floss my teeth for me, like when the dentist.
Oh yeah, you're weird. I bet you would. Yeah, like Julia Roberts or somebody like that, right?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. So, if I could get Selma Hayek to floss my teeth for me, I would have it done every single day. But no, I even though. So what
are you doing? So what are you doing about hemorrhoids? You're getting somebody nice to kiss it for you?
I'm staying away from that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't like flossing. So I'm glad you said this. Matter of fact, I'm actually my best friend out here in Wichita, a guy named Craig Boynton. He has an amazing dentist office. It's actually fun.
I can tell you for a fact he is not your best friend, or he'd be listening to the show.
He's working.
Well, we have archives. If he just got my app, it's absolutely free. He could listen to you every Tuesday and Thursday and find out what it is his best friend is doing, or at least the guy that thinks he's his best friend.
I think probably there are times he doesn't want to know what I'm doing. but I'm actually I'm going to forward this article on to him and ask him what he thinks about it. So he and I have actually gone to I went to a dental seminar years ago, and I asked him, I said, hey man, I'm going to go to this dental seminar, but I don't want to go by myself. You want to go with me? He said, yeah, sure. So we actually went to a dental seminar together. I love going to seminars. I'm a bit of a seminar junkie, but I am going to forward this on to him and ask him what he thinks about it. So in other news, there was an anthrax. It's funny, you sent me this article. It says anthrax outbreak in Russia kills a child.
Right.
And that was the first part I saw. It was that there was a child died from the first bacterial infection, in 75 years or whatever. And my first thought was, I'm sure they're out in the country somewhere. Everyone thinks anthrax and they get all freaked out, like, oh no, it's, anthrax, and so we think of, chemical warfare agents and on, but really anthrax has been around forever, and it's something that, that is found in large animals, in livestock and things. Even, farmers ranchers have always had to deal with anthrax. It's just been a problem for a long time. So my first thought was, I bet they're way out in the country. And sure enough, there are nomads out in Russia. And, it's interesting though that it's been 75 years, that they had an outbreak of it, because I would honestly expect, anywhere that has large animals, which is pretty much everywhere, that anthrax exists, and you would think that not only would the animals get infected on a fairly regular basis, but people would contract it as well.
Let me ask you a question about that, because you're right. I mean, anthrax is attached to animals. Does it attach to a specific part? Is it part of the mucous system? Is it part of the bone? Is it part of the meat, muscle? Where?
I think it comes from, and I've not actually studied this, but I think I remember reading about this somewhere, that it actually comes from the like the digestive system, comes from the stomach or the intestines or whatever, and so I think that's how it's contracted, is through the feces. I believe. I could be totally wrong on this one, but I think that's where it comes from.
Well, you would think with all of the technology and all of the maturity of the world today, that you wouldn't be hearing about a recurrence of anthrax or lockjaw or polio or any of these things. You'd think that those days would all be over, but they're not. It just recurs, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's like saying, you wouldn't expect, to ever get the flu, or, they're normal things. Measles, mumps, all these, chicken pox, they're all normal, and it's, to me, I don't think it's abnormal to, tetanus, again, you talk about lockjaw from tetanus. Mm-hmm. Tetanus is another thing, people think, I step on a nail, a rusty nail especially, I gotta get a tetanus shot, and tetanus doesn't come from rusty nails. It's associated with rusty nails because people, when people get tetanus, the vast majority of people who have contracted tetanus get it usually, and again, it's the same as anthrax. It comes from large animals. You know, you get it from cattle, you get it from cattle feces, and you get it's in the dirt, you know, in places like in ranches and stuff. And so maybe, you know, some piece of the fence fell off or something, and there's a rusty nail, and someone's out at the ranch and they step on it, and that's how it gets injected into their body. But you know, when if you live in the city, chances are almost zero that you're going to contract tetanus. You know, tetanus comes from exposure to large animals and the dirt in like a ranch area where there's lots of concentration of large animals. So even those, you know, to me, it doesn't seem abnormal that we still get things like that, because it's just a natural part of our environment, of our world. You know, diseases are just one of those things. They are what they are, and you know, people get them, and for the most part, you know, it's not going to kill you. Tetanus is very dangerous to a baby, you know, but what are the odds that a baby's going to be out running around, you know, with large farm animals? You know, it's pretty, you know, I mean, I guess a baby could get tetanus, but if you live in the city, you know, and you keep your kid in a sterile environment, chances are, again, almost zero that you're going to get tetanus. And,
well, to a baby, a puppy is a large farm animal.
Well, yeah, that's true. Puppies don't carry tetanus, but once you pass the toddler stage, you know, tetanus is one of those things that, yeah, if you get it, it can you know, lead to lockjaw, but it's not going to kill you. It's treatable. It's very treatable.
Well, it's good, and it's good, and it's great for
what I would call a communicable disease.
But it's great for your diet, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
You lose weight. Yeah, you lose weight.
For a straw.
Yeah,
you'll definitely lose weight when you can't. That child's locked up. But
well, when you get lockjaw, answer this. You know, it's a stupid question, but I don't know the answer. So I guess anything I don't know the answer to can't be too stupid. Here's the thing: when you get lockjaw, is there a cure for it so that you unlock your jaw, or once you've got it, you've got it?
No, they just treat the, and I don't know exactly why it is that tetanus causes lockjaw, but they treat the tetanus and the lockjaw goes away.
So it's a muscular?
Tetanus is, I believe it's bacterial. And why specifically it causes, you know, I'll have to research that one. Maybe we can talk about it on the next show, why, you know, what causes the lockjaw. I don't know exactly. I know anthrax is bacterial. I believe tetanus is maybe it's viral. I can't remember if tetanus is viral or bacterial. Yeah. But, you know, actually, I think now that I think about it, I think maybe it's viral. But for why it causes your jaw to lock up, that's, you know, I don't know. I'll research it, though. I'll find out.
So we got 3 minutes.
Now I'm curious.
Actually, got 2.5 minutes before we go on a commercial break. What do you want to talk about?
Let's do this next article. All the articles you sent me were a really good one. That one's going to take too long. This one here, this one we can talk about real quick. Talks about trampoline park injuries increased 12-fold, you know, as the trend gets, you know, and that whole thing, like I get it, it's fun, but, you know, we have become this nation obsessed with doing extreme everything, you know, and like I don't remember, like I knew one kid, and he was like the star, Michael Carnes, when I was in high school. He was a star football player, and he blew out his knee, you know, and you know, I think he was one of those guys that was going to go on to play college ball, and then ended up blowing out his knee on his senior year. But he was the only guy that I can remember that walked around with a knee brace on, and I see these teenagers nowadays, they're everywhere with knee braces and, you know, shoulder things or elbow braces. You know, they're constantly blowing out body parts, but you see the stuff on YouTube of these guys that literally jump off of houses, and then, you know, they'll leap from rooftop to rooftop, and they do all this. I know there's a term for all this jumping around stuff that they do.
I'm pretty sure it's parkour.
Oh, okay. Well, that works for me. And so it's, you know, it's something that people watch and they go, gosh, I want to learn how to do that. And I'm thinking, you know, we're doing all this extreme stuff and people are tearing up their bodies, you know. I mean, like this CrossFit is such a big thing right now. And I want nothing to do with it. I'm sure people feel, you know, that's the standing joke is, you know, if a person does CrossFit and is also a vegan, which one are they going to tell you about first, you know? But,
well, you know, I actually
they won't shut up about it. They just keep going on and on. But
well, I just don't get it. Joey was explaining something to me on Saturday while we were having lunch over at Gladstone's, and we were watching all of these people on the walkway out there. And what the hell are those people doing? And Joey says they're playing this Pokemon Go. and it was something I wasn't tremendously familiar with. But today in the news,
17 people.
Yeah, today at least. But today I read in the news about a couple who actually abandoned their 3-year-old child because of this Pokemon Go.
People are doing all kinds of stupid stuff. People have walked into traffic, literally get hit by cars. There are people. There's somebody who walked off a cliff. I walked right off of a cliff because he was staring at his phone trying to find Pokemon. And it's unbelievable. People are getting really stupid. I mean, it's good to know that people are out, at least moving. They're not just sitting there watching TV, but it's crazy. This whole Pokemon Go thing just exploded on the scene.
What happened with where we were at, why there were so many Pokemon Go people, is because Gladstone's is right on the Long Beach harbor, so it's right next to water. And if my understanding of Pokemon Go is correct, you'll find water Pokemon near water, you'll find forest Pokemon in the forest, and normal Pokemon in urban areas. So
that just makes sense.
Yeah, they were searching for rare Pokemon. So I'm thinking you're going to be finding a lot more people, like, in parks, and, I mean, apparently there's tons of people in parks doing this.
Well, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to take some pokes at Sean, and we'll see what he's got to talk about, or if he survives the poke that we do to him. Sean,
you know what we got to talk about? Talking about extreme stuff. When we come back, I want to talk about. I don't know if you see it. That guy that jumped out of the airplane with no parachute from 25,000 feet.
No.
Oh yeah, you know what? You talk about a mental idiot. I wouldn't jump out of a perfectly good airplane with or without a parachute. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. We'll be right back with Sean LaFave and Joey right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:24 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to, well, now it says 67 degrees. In any event, that's still very pleasant. If you're listening to us on our syndicated global network and you're in London, England, it is 68 degrees and mostly cloudy. And in Vienna, Austria, it's also 68 degrees and mostly cloudy. But I'll tell you, there's no clouds floating over the head of my good buddy Sean LaFave. Hey, Sean, you got the microphone.
All right. So this past, what was it? It was just a few days ago. What was his name? I'm looking up his name right now. It's not that really matters. But what is it? Of course. Well, Luke Akins jumped out of a. Did you hear about this, by the way?
Yes, I did.
I haven't.
Oh, okay. Oh, you haven't? Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. You guys, when you're done with your radio show, you got to go on YouTube and watch it. This guy jumped out of an airplane at 25,000 feet, somewhere over. It looked like they were in I don't know exactly where they were, but it was a desert-looking area with no parachute. And he became the first person to successfully free fall to Earth without a parachute and land. They put up a net, and the net looked like it was about 100 feet by 100 feet square. It was maybe not even that big. They said it was about a third the size of a football field. So I guess that's about 100 feet by 100 feet. And he jumped from 25,000 feet and guided himself not with one of those like flying squirrel suits those guys wear. They can fly wherever they want. He was in a regular jumpsuit and guided himself down and landed in this net.
So you know what, the word stupid and demented, a can short of a six-pack, all come to mind right now.
When you
yeah, totally. But I mean, because really, if he landed, he was probably about, I don't know, maybe 25% off of center. So he was kind of like, about halfway between the edge and the center of the net, which is fine. As long as he hits the net, he hits the net. But man, you're right. That's crazy. Like
at that
you're right.
speed.
A couple fries short of a Happy Meal to try that, or either that, or you are just that confident that you go, you know what, I can do this. And I can't even imagine. They show in the video, they show his heart rate, and his heart rate as he was falling was 148 beats per minute.
Well, you know what? He should have had I'm sorry. He should have just had a heart attack. A perfectly healthy young man jumping out of a perfectly operating airplane without a parachute. I mean, I would question his mental capacity with the parachute, much less without it.
Well,
I think, go ahead, Joey.
This, when you said 100-foot by 100-foot net, what went through my mind, you're familiar with like the Wile E. Coyote cartoons, right? What? Yeah, all I can think about is the guy jumps out of the plane and he lands like inches away from the net, just like flat on his face. This is a kind of a Wile E. Coyote kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it actually did say here. Oh my gosh. You know where he did this? He did this right outside of, I was right, it's kind of a desert area. He did it right outside of Simi Valley.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Simi Valley, California?
It says he plummeted from 25,000 feet above the desert landscape of California's Simi Valley. Yeah, I didn't. Simi Valley, lots of things have happened outside of that area. Like Little House on the Prairie was filmed right outside of Simi Valley.
Or lands on a cactus. Or lands on a cactus.
What's that?
Or lands on the cactus inches from the...
Are you still with Wile E. Coyote?
I'm pretty sure if you hit a cactus at 120 miles an hour because you missed the net, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't you wouldn't even feel the cactus.
No, it's going right through you. You know what? Here's the thing. I keep thinking about how tight that net had to be at that force hitting that thing. Not only how tight, but how high off the ground it had to be because of the impact force that was coming down on that thing.
Yeah, they said it was about 20 stories off, so it was about 200 feet high. And obviously it was on a recoil system, so when he hit it slowly, recoil, it tightened up its tension on the cables or whatever as he fell, so it stopped him from obviously hitting the ground. But
I'll tell you, the tough part is the tough part's the second landing, because he obviously had to bounce.
Scariest trampoline ever.
Yeah. The good thing they didn't do bungee cords on the corners of that net. It's springing right off of that. Well, he probably stopped about 50 feet off the ground. So figure he fell when he hit the net. The net tensioned itself up to where it stopped him to about 150 feet for him to come to a stop, and then they lowered him down to the ground. And man, it was just, of course, when you're skydiving, you're face down because you've got to see where he's going. And just before he hits the net, he's got to flip over and land on his back because obviously when the net collapses, it's gonna fold him up, curl him up into a ball. And man, it was just crazy to watch this. But yeah, you guys should, Joe, you got to watch the video. It's unbelievable.
It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. You just go to YouTube and you type in 25,000 foot skydive or whatever, it'll come up.
He hits the net. I'd be extremely concerned about falling out of the airplane. But, I'd be concerned, even if you hit the net and it's all successful, what if you end up, because you said it's 26 stories tall, what happens if you die because you flew off the net after you hit it and fell the 26 stories? I'd be concerned about that as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they took all that into account before the guy actually jumped out of the airplane. But
I am going to watch it.
I would do skydiving. What's that?
I am going to watch it. And no, I would not do skydiving. My son has done skydiving. And you know what? And that's got to be something from his mother's side of the family, because we would never do that. This jumping out of a perfectly good airplane just is not making a lot of sense to me.
I would. I don't know that I would try. I saw a video of a guy a couple years ago that he jumped out. He didn't have a net. He threw his parachute. This was planned. He intentionally did this. Threw his parachute out of the airplane and then jumped out after the parachute and caught it and had to catch up to the parachute, fly himself to it, grab it, put it on, and then deploy his parachute. I'm telling you, there are some. I think I'm a risk taker, but no way.
Yeah, I've actually seen those stunts. You see those stunts; they do them for movies. It's unbelievable what some people will do. I can't imagine. If you're doing a movie and this guy throws the parachute out, right, and you go diving after it to save yourself, and I can't imagine what that stunt man gets paid for that one stunt.
Well, that's now CGI. Like, stuntmen are pretty much out of business now.
Oh, are they?
Well, I can't really speak for the stunt person business, but everything can be done with CGI. I mean, those actors are probably just standing up in front of a green screen, having wind blown on their face, using high-powered fans, acting like they're falling, and then the editor does the rest.
Well, that does make a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
I actually, it's funny, I don't know why I never pursued this, but I actually wanted to be a stuntman at one point. I mean, when I was younger, I was still some of the things I would love to try, but I don't know why. I lived in Southern California. You think I would have gone after that? It's a perfect place to be a stuntman. But
hey, if you got a death wish, I've got a couple of guns here.
Yeah, well, I want to go out in a blaze. I don't want to make it quick and painless. I want it to hurt real bad. But
Joe, talking about quick and painless, Joey was telling me about this survey that had been done about what the most humane and painless method for executions were, and I was a little surprised. Do you know what the most humane and painless method of
supposedly by some site?
Well, I would assume the gas chamber with an odorless gas that you fall asleep.
Guillotine.
Oh, That makes sense. Yeah.
And I was looking at historical methods. So not suicide or like, parking your car and doing that. Historical methods. And people have actually said that the guillotine, sure, it looks gruesome and all that type of stuff. But really, the blade's coming down so fast and severing your head so fast that, one, you don't feel it, and two, you're dead instantly. But there is an argument to be had that it's possible that the brain may still be alive up to 15 seconds after the decapitation.
I've actually read about that, and you're right, Joey. They actually, I can't remember who it was that did the study, but actually, because the only organ in your body that is directly hardwired to your brain is your eyes. Everything else has to go through the spinal cord. And they actually took a guy, right after he was beheaded, they picked him up by his hair, said his name, and he looked over. So they knew that his eye still worked. He could still look, but it was within seconds he was gone. So you've got to wonder, what that last thought is going. Oh, I don't have a body anymore. That would be interesting. Obviously, there's no way to know for sure, but yeah, they say that the person, the brain doesn't die right away. It does. It takes a few seconds.
Yeah. And one thing people forget about the guillotine is it replaced hundreds of years of using the axe and the wood plank. I mean, and that was pain. That was oftentimes didn't work. So people forget that the guillotine in its time was considered the most humane way to go. It wasn't torture in that time.
Well, other than the thought of what was about to happen to you. Right?
Yeah, there was actually, I actually read a book about the French Revolution. I'm a French Revolution history nut. And, the aristocrats sent to prison for their crimes, so to speak, they actually practiced their walk to the guillotine in prison. And when one of the aristocrats was walking up to meet Charles Sanson, which was the executioner for the Reign of Terror, and the guy said, Sanson said, do you know what's about to happen? Like trying to confront him with what was about to happen. He said, all you have to do is do your role. You'll be very surprised at how much I know, at how well I know mine.
Jesus.
Speaking of the French Revolution, just wars in general, I don't know why this thought came to mind earlier this morning. My brain goes in. Sally once, she said this several times. She says, I would love to get inside your brain. I'm like, no, it's horrible in there. You don't want to be inside that thing. Trust me. You don't want to know. It's confusing most of the time. But my brain thinks about all kinds of... She'd
slap your face and just continue doing it, wouldn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think anybody needs to be in there, but so I do. I come up with the most random. Sometimes I'll just think of stuff. But I was thinking. I can't remember if someone said something about this the Vietnam War or something. But we still talk today about the Vietnam War and how horrible it was, and these poor guys, they're still suffering. And we talk, of course, about the Gulf War, which has been going on since '91. That we're still over there, and how horrible that that we should never have gone back in the way we did. And we talk about World War II, and we talk about World War I, and all kinds of. But I can't remember the last time I ever heard anybody say anything about the Korean War. Like, to the point that I don't even know what that war was about. I don't remember. No one ever. Why do we not talk about the Korean War? Why do we talk about World War II?
Does MacArthur bring anything to memory?
Well, sure, yeah, but why do we not talk about it?
Because we have, we are a nation of wars. We've been at war longer than I've been alive, and we go from one to another, sometimes multiple wars, and there's just too many of them to talk about to concentrate on just one.
I guess. But I just, I hear about people talking about war all the time, and they talk about, World War II veterans and Vietnam veterans, but there's got to be, I don't know what, millions of, I don't know how many, Korean War veterans alive today, but we never talk about them.
Well, we can talk about them on Thursday when we redo this program one more time, because we are out of time.
Man. This went by quick. Well, at least we got one. At least we got one segment in where we talked about health. The rest of it was just random stuff.
We were talking about mental health most of the show. In any event, we will talk more about these things. I'll send you some more articles. We'll see what's going on Thursday. How's that sound?
That sounds great, Robert. Thanks. I had a fun time, Joey. It was good having you back.
It was great talking to you too. I'm not going to be here Thursday. But.
Awesome.
In any event, why aren't you going to be here Thursday?
I thought I might.
I think you are going to be here Thursday because your dad is having an issue. Anyway, you go out and make it a great week. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Stay happy. Keep everybody around you happy. And you know what? Just love everything, every minute of everything you're doing.
Same to you, Robert. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you Thursday.
All right. For the rest of you folks, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. And you know who's going to present that?
Me.
That's right. You, my genius grandson, Joey. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not. I'm telling you, I'll come searching for you. Don't go away. We got a lot of great show for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 81 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, it's 79 degrees and mostly cloudy. But I'll tell you, if what you want to do is learn something that'll help you for the rest of your life, you've come to the right place. Because my co-host Joey, right now is going to talk about the Harvard Business Tip of the day. Joey, what is the tip today?
Well, the Harvard Business Tip for today is middle managers can learn from middlemen. The term middleman usually conjures up a negative image, someone who creates cost and slows things down. The truth is almost the opposite. Middlemen usually can make things happen more effectively than those who specialize in other job functions. Middle managers can learn from middlemen in 3 ways. 1, look for gaps between the silos. People who can bridge the structural holes in organizations, who understand the needs and resources of different teams, can bridge cultural divides. 2, keep both sides honest. The middleman's power comes from a unique vantage point that can keep one or both sides accountable for delivering on the end product. And finally, 3, be a single point of contact for your team. Middlemen can help with information overload, filtering out the noise and delivering crucial data.
Well, you know what? And that's really good advice, too, Joey, and that's why it comes from Harvard for that matter. But right now, Joe, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. Another word for...
a positive mental attitude.
Absolutely. You know, you really do control what goes on in your life. You get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and you say to yourself, I'm going to be rich or I'm going to be poor. I'm going to be successful or I'm going to be a failure. I'm going to be happy or I'm going to be sad, or I'm going to make people around me glad that they're around me. You control it all. It's all by your mental attitude. It's a positive mental attitude. So, Joey, what is the teaching today?
Well, the secret today comes from in what looks like the form of a quote, but nobody is quoted here. I am convinced that if we can eat our food in the present, entirely focused on the pleasurable experience of eating, the food is assimilated into our bodies perfectly, and the result in our bodies must be perfection.
Well, makes sense to me. You just have to have that mental attitude all the time. Well, today is Tuesday. It's August the 2nd, and it is somebody's birthday. Okay, Joe, let's go for the birthdays.
Well, we've got 2 birthdays for today, August 2nd. The first one was a person born in 1924. They passed away in 2001. An actor who found fame as the bigoted working man, Archie Bunker. Oh. The main character in the 1970s CBS television sitcoms, All in the Family. Happy birthday, Carol O'Connor.
Wow, you know, did you ever see that series, Joe?
No, I haven't.
Man, that was just era breaking. They did things on that show that were never allowed by the censors ever before. It was unbelievable. So what's the next one?
This next one is a person born in 1964, an actress best known for her current lead role on the television series Weeds. Happy birthday, Mary Louise Parker.
Well, you know what? She's a good actress, too.
Okay, so
let's talk about what happened today in history.
We've got 3 things that happened today in history. The first one was August 2nd, 1939. Albert Einstein, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this person's name, Leo Szilard, wrote a letter to Franklin Delano Roosevelt urging him to begin the Manhattan Project to develop a nuclear weapon.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, later on, Einstein wanted that program to be dismantled.
Yeah, he said, I think he was the one who said that was one of his greatest mistakes.
Yes, absolutely. So, Joe, talk about the...
2 more.
Oh, we got 2 more.
Yes. August 2nd, 1964, in the Vietnam War, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And in 1990, Iraq invades Kuwait, eventually leading to the conflict with coalition forces in the Gulf War.
And that was the 7-day war that we had, right?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the quote for today comes from Agnes Repiler. It is not easy to find happiness in ourselves, and it is not possible to find it elsewhere.
Boy, isn't that the truth? That's absolutely true. Well, Joe, we got to take another short break. When we come back,
interesting but useless, right?
Oh, that's right. What's wrong with me? Yes.
That's one of the best segments.
Yeah.
Birds do not sleep in their nests, although they may rest in them from time to time.
Birds don't sleep.
They don't sleep in their nests.
Yeah.
The fruit of the cacao tree grow differently directly from the trunk. They look like small melons, and the pulp inside contains 20 to 50 seeds or beans. It takes about 400 beans to make a pound of chocolate.
Oh, the cacao tree.
The cacao tree, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The Swiss consume more chocolate per capita than any other nation on earth. That's 22 pounds each compared to 11 pounds per person in the United States.
Wow.
Did you know that the original name of Bank of America was Bank of Italy?
No, I didn't know that.
True spiders always have organs for spinning silk called spiderets. Spinnerets, yeah. I had spiders on my mind. In Breton, Alabama, there is a law against riding down the street in a motorboat.
In a motorboat?
Yeah, a motorboat. The shockwave from a nitrocylindrin explosion travels at 17,000 miles per hour.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Bulletproof vests, fire escapes, windshield wipers, and laser printers were all invented by women.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is, huh?
Yeah, that broke the glass ceiling.
Yeah. New Hampshire is also the only state name that has 4 consecutive consonants in it, in the same word.
Okay, give us the last one.
I'm not going to give you that one. Every year, Mexico City sinks about 10 inches.
Sinks?
That's
interesting. Don't make that the last one.
Okay. The human brain is about 85% water.
That is interesting. That's interesting. So when they talk about water on the brain, they're not kidding, right? All right, listen, we got to take a short break. When we come back, Joe, you'll do the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Folks, you do not want to miss this one. What's the name of this series?
The Gunshot on the Snowy Evening.
All right, we'll be right back, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And welcome back to Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. And it's this time in the show where we gather around the proverbial campfire and we give our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. Now, Paul Harvey is one of America's favorite radio and TV commentators. He's been heard on over 775 ABC radio stations and over 400 foreign stations. He's been seen on 110 television stations, read in 300 newspapers, the recipient of numerous awards and honors, including 9 honorary degrees. And he's made it on the Gallup polls list of America's most admired men. And the rest of the story for today is called Gunshot on a Snowy Evening. And thank you for doing the sound effect for this one. It's a depressing one this time, but here we go. It was a party for teenagers, and Addie felt out of place, even in his own home. Addie was only 12, but his older sister asked him to stick around, so he stuck around. It was a snowy December evening outside, and Addie longed to go coasting, as he called it. But the other party attendants were much too preoccupied with their own games and their own conversations. He would have to wait for another time. Then one of the older boys who'd been away at school noticed Addie, alone staring gloomily out the window. "Say, Addie," he said, I learned the manual of arms last semester." Addie's ears perked up. "The manual of arms? That was what they did in the army drill, wasn't it? Would Addie like to see how it went?" The older boy wanted to know. All they needed was a rifle. Well, Addie's folks had a .22 caliber rifle in the hall closet. That would do. So Addie brought him the gun, and the boy gave a quick demonstration. Accounts of what happened next vary. After the older boy showed Addie the manual of arms, some say Addie was trying to imitate it, others say he was about to put the rifle away, but one eyewitness swears that Addie took the gun from the older boy, pointed it at one of the girls, and pulled the trigger. The gun was loaded, and a young girl, Ruth Merwin, fell to the library floor, dead. Addie dropped the rifle, and his eyes widened to see blood pouring from Ruth's forehead. He turned on his heel and ran upstairs to his room, alone. The snow was still falling outside, more heavily now. One of the youngsters left to fetch Ruth Merwin's parents. The party was over. The aftermath was as curious as the incident was tragic. No one in Addie's family, so far as we know, ever mentioned Ruth Merwin's death. Addie himself would not speak of it until many years had passed. In fact, 3 weeks after the accident, Addie wrote his father a letter in which he mentions the Merwin family. But nowhere in that letter is there a trace of remorse, or even the slightest indication anything had happened. Armchair psychologists like to theorize that Addie's later devotion to causes is traced back to guilt associated with the shattering occurrence in his childhood. But that is probably a shallow interpretation of a complex personality. Still, Addie was haunted for the rest of his life by self-doubt and feelings of unworthiness. As a man, when honors were bestowed upon him by his peers, Addie would accept reluctantly, saying, I should have preferred to hear these words uttered for a stronger, a wiser, a better man than myself. But honors would continue to be bestowed upon him, and Addie would continue to be plagued by vague, melancholy feelings. It was not unusual for him to begin a letter to a friend with such a phrase as, "It is very late and I am propped up in my bed, desolate, weary, harassed, and sad." So one gunshot on a long-past, snowy December evening echoed throughout Addie's life, though his own wife would have to learn from a friend of this incident in her husband's childhood. Addie was always known as a gentleman, quiet and mild-mannered. Those who had not learned of that cryptic chapter in his life would never have associated Addie with violence of any kind. On the wings of a peaceful image, he rose to a revered position, came to be respected and admired, all the while turning a guilt-deafened ear to adulation. For the honor he would have preferred to see a better man receive was the Democratic presidential nomination of 1952. The man who lived his life for others, Addie, was Adlai Stevenson, and now you know his rest of the story.
Well, that was interesting. That was really interesting. So what's the story tomorrow, Joe?
The story tomorrow is Drag Strip Simpson.
All right, that ought to be interesting. Listen, you've been listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. I'm here with my co-host, my genius grandson, Joey. And Joey, you're going to be with us again tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am.
And so we ought to have a great show. We'll be with Dr. Wireless. On tomorrow's show, I'm going to tell you how to get Uncle Sam to help you pay for your continuing education. And I'm going to also answer your emails tomorrow. Now, our own Joel Salzman, Dr. Wireless, will be here talking about new wireless technology and news that'll be here. Joey will continue his tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, and all the other great parts of the show. We've got a great show planned for you tomorrow. So please tell all your friends about our show here at the RLC Broadcasting Network, and don't forget to get our app. You'll be glad you did. Your friends will be glad you did, and Joey and I will be glad you did too.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.